that it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, well, you're welcome. My friend Mr. Stivers also romanced me when I was at the dump on Saturday,
Yes,
and it's in the same
thank
regard,
you for that, by the
politicking.
way.
And so I assured him that I was going to vote the way he liked. So um,
I know. It's the transfer station is the true heart of the town politically.
No, the library is the true heart of the matter.
All right, then the
Sorry,
transfer station
involuntary.
will be the kidneys. How's
Okay,
that?
I don't know what to do, Janet. I don't know if you, I think you can hear us, but it's not, I keep promoting you to panelist and then there's no movement. So I'm gonna try, because I don't have a device next to me. Give me a sec, because I'm gonna try to text her, because I don't know if she needs to try to get out and then get back in.
Okay.
Are you guys talking about campaign signs?
No, we would never discuss those in a public
Well,
meeting.
you guys are live on YouTube now too, so just remember that part, okay?
I wonder, Janet, if you went in through the town website, if you can hear us like you normally do, maybe it's stopping him from promoting you for some reason.
Amy, the week of celebrating the librarians was spectacular.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. They deserve it.
They sure do.
And it isn't a lot of heavy lifting with it divided among 6, which makes it.
No, it was wonderful, I thought.
I didn't get to see most of it. I was in San Diego for a long time.
Uh,
And their weather was better than it is here, but it's still nice for we left with no bulbs up and I've got all kinds of flowers in my yard, which was nice to come home to.
it is, it is. Well, California is hard to compete with florally.
Yeah.
I know. It's like something that you have here is a house plant. You go out there and it's an 8-foot hedge.
Yep. Jade, and we
Yep.
used to grow oh shoot. I can't remember angel's trumpets, which would
Yes.
be very small here, and they were like huge trees. So
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. And avocado trees all over the place. It's really,
olives and
yeah,
rosemary and yeah.
yeah.
so do we have Janet yet?
No, I don't think so.
There's a chat. Oh, did you? Oh, is that you, Ryan? Okay. Yeah. I suggested she go back out and try with the link you sent, rather, because she usually comes in through the town, but I don't know. We have quorum, right? I have to be out of here a little before. Yeah, in about 40 minutes, maybe half an
Okay.
hour.
What, 6:30?
I have to be at my appointment at 6:30. It's 20 minutes away.
Oh, okay. So really 6.
There's Janet. Hey, Janet.
All right.
Janet, I just left you the strangest message, so you can delete it. But I was like, I'm trying to figure out how to promote you, and there was some weird thing where it said decline, but never mind. So you're on, so that's great.
Okay, that's really good. I'm going to call the meeting to order since Amy has a hard stop. So it is 5:37. It is the 22nd of April. This is the Southborough Library Board of Trustees meeting called to order. And we are on Zoom. Totally. Okay, approval of the minutes from March 20th. Do we have any corrections on that?
Just one quick question on the second page, the first complete item there. Just help me out. I should know this by now, but just give me a sentence or two so I understand what's going on there.
The mass certified public
Yes,
purchasing?
yes.
That was, I think we had $700. Well, Ryan, why don't you explain it?
Sure. So, yeah, we had a little bit of money left in professional development,
Okay.
but I actually, so after the last time we met, I talked about how this is the year I have to renew that designation. So this is something I did during COVID where I took
Okay.
online classes. So you can take online classes again, but I actually found out I have to do 7 independent classes in order to get it done. So one of them you get a credit for doing for free, but the rest of them cost money. So I did price them out. There's a renewal class I have to take, and then I took a full other class, and then I did it like a series of webinars that are like either like 2 hours, or I think like one is like a half day. So it ended up being more money than we had for professional development, but this is actually a good segue to go into something else I want to talk about, if that's okay.
Okay, but can I
Yes.
just,
I have
can I
one,
just,
I have one small edit, I think,
yes,
I think. It's under Staff Appreciation Week, and it's the second sentence. It says, Ryan will check in the friends. I think with the friends.
Yeah, you're right, Jane.
okay, that's good. So I'm going to suggest for that Massachusetts Certified Public Purchasing Official, I'm going to suggest calling that item professional development.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Ryan needs to recertify his Massachusetts Certified Public Purchasing Official status.
Designation. They
Designation,
they
okay.
call it that for some reason.
And then I would just go, I would just say the amount would be approximately $700. The designation would need to be renewed before July 2024.
Yeah, so I can do it all in this fiscal year, but $140 ended
Right.
up being taken out of dues.
Yep.
So we basically ran out of money in professional development for it.
Understood. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think it's a good use of the money, but I just think in terms of the minutes, David, that you're right. It doesn't, it's sort of like what? Anyway, any
Yeah.
other corrections for the minutes? Okay, I'm gonna just say in the part that says MPLCP,
Mhm.
I would just, instead of calling it that, I would say town meeting and building project. Because I think that whole paragraph was about the presentation to town meeting, right?
Yeah. Do you want to
And then-
call it library expansion project? 'Cause I
Okay,
think
and
we
library
call it-
expansion project, right. Because, okay, so then line 1, 2, 3, 4, the sentence that starts prior to the meeting starting, I would just say prior to town meeting, Ryan will make the Peggy Tuttle Award presentation.
That's good.
Yeah,
And then I would just leave that one alone. Okay. So, okay, do I have it?
so you called it town meeting and what,
And library expansion project, he said.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're
Any
also
other-
gonna rename the tab on the website. It says building project right now, but we're
Yeah.
gonna reclassify it as library expansion project. That's
Expansion.
what we're starting to brand as.
Yep, sounds
Begin to-
good.
Yeah.
Sounds very good. Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Second,
All right, and all those in favor, Landry, aye?
Davis, I.
Maybe
Yes.
I.
Oops. Yes, Donnie, I.
David,
Megan,
aye.
Okay, good, thank you.
Regan,
Oh,
Regan
Kim,
said I too for the record. It was
okay,
Corinne Davis
Kim, I
was-
see your name. Anyway, all right, so good, all right, moving right along. Where am I?
The record
on
report.
the agenda.
Yes, the director's report.
Okay, so I feel like you guys got a big report on what happened in the windowsill in the children's room. It is being fixed. Facilities is spending a significant amount of time and energy and resources at this last quarter of the fiscal year to try to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So they've done a lot of work in the past couple weeks. I'm pretty happy with it. John and Sue and I have all kind of sat down and just made sure that it's the right direction to go. We're going to see if it happens again when we have heavy rainfall again, but we're going to actively be checking the windowsills a little bit more.
Okay, any other questions about that one? And Ryan, what else do we need to know?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I
Right.
can't, I mean, water, again, I feel like we have a lot of water and then something happens to the building and then I have to report to you guys about it. So
That's
this
okay.
is familiar, but it's what did the water do this time is kind of.
But it
what I'm-
wasn't groundwater, correct? It came from
It
the
was not.
sky.
It was definitely rainwater and it wasn't from the roof. It was from the side of the building that it
Mhm.
came in, so,
Right.
you know, I
Noah's
couldn't
Ark,
win.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
leaking.
I'm assuming if the building is expanded, they will knock that down and put in something new, correct? We hope?
Well, that is the area that we'd like to potentially look at doing a new entryway. So I have a good reason why to do it now,
Yeah,
because we've got water coming in through the windowsills.
yes, there's something about the way it's constructed that is not exactly watertight. Okay, what else do we need to know, Ryan, from the director's report?
Director's report. Okay, so since we did expend all of the money in professional development, I know that myself and Mariana and possibly Kim, who's
Mhm.
just on vacation right now, but she's going to be back in a couple weeks. We were looking at potentially attending either one or both days of the Massachusetts Library Association conference. It's at the Sheraton in Framingham this year.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's very local to us. It's not that much of a drive. So we have expended money in the professional development fund at this point, but there is still a little bit of excess fund in dues. So if the board has no objections, this is where I'd like to take the conference attendance costs out of, because we're able to generate an invoice that we can pay back to the Mass Library Association.
Ryan,
Well,
why do we have this extra in dues, I guess? Or was it earmarked for something, or was something less expensive than we anticipated, or?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, Kim. We do get a little break on the amount of money we have to pay to CW Mars at the beginning of the year if we pay the bill early. So these are really just sort of it's like funds that we have at the end of the year. There's really not that much. I think it's like less than 1,500. So
Mhm.
it's really not, we're not talking about megabucks here. To do the conference, it's going to be, I know for me, I think it was going to be around 300. Mariana's interested in going one day, which is a little less than 200. So this would eat up a fair amount of the funds.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say if it's because of what you said, that sounds fine to me. But if it was taking away, dues for something that would provide to patrons, like I'd prefer to take the money out of state aid or something, because I do think you should all go. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't taking anything away from patrons for reallocating that money.
Yeah, and it's usually not enough money to even spend on like a new item. It's
Mhm.
really if we have some sort of like unanticipated bill at the end of the year, or if we like added something new, we sometimes use these funds for that. This is a
Mhm.
little bit more than we have at this time of year to spend on something like that. So again, I think it's good to spend the allocated budget money if you guys are okay with that, since I don't really have another project or request at the moment. So this seems like a good use of the funds, in my opinion.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay, so, Ryan, do you want to go into the expense report? It seems like a good segue. Sorry for my laryngitis, everybody.
I have a question down at the bottom of the report, if we,
Yep.
or are we?
No, you can, we can
Okay.
stay in the director's report if you want.
You mentioned the Friends annual meeting, and I don't ever remember hearing that discussed before. Is that they do a big thing?
Yeah, so this is one of the things I think the Friends are kind of trying to do too, is that the Friends typically do like, because they take the summer off, so they typically don't meet in July and August, but in June, they do their annual election. So the annual election is supposed to be tied to kind of an annual meeting, and the idea is that they'll start doing that as an in-person meeting too, because all of their meetings have been on Zoom. So we did have a request from an author, and I've reached out to him to see if maybe like prior to the Friends meeting at 7:30, if he would want to come and do like an author presentation, and then we can make the night more of an event. So that's one of the things that the president was interested in exploring. And I think it's too late for them to find somebody to like fund to come. and like for us to book an author, but I think she's also like interested maybe in like this expanding to be more of a big event every year. So this is really kind of us like, I guess like repitching the annual meeting so that there's like kind of a program component involved, and then there's more of a come to the library and we'll be doing something else. So
So this isn't just for them. They want people to come and us to come, or
well, I mean, you guys, I want to let you guys know that you're invited. I know some of you have come to Friends meetings in the past, or all of you have volunteered at a Friends book sale. So this is just another opportunity, I think, to try to do it. I also have to talk to them about the interest of this author and see, like, we have time to plan this out because it's not until June, but I wanted to make you aware of the fact that the meeting will most likely be in person, and then that you guys could attend if you wanted to, and there might be an associated event.
do we have, Amy, are you going to the monthly meetings?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Mary, who is running for office, has been on the front and is looking possibly to stay on them. So she'd be the perfect one to do that now because she has, been walking the walk for a while I've been gone for a while. Does that make sense?
Yes. David has come to some of the meetings, so
I
he's
have,
been
but
with us.
I have less than perfect attendance.
When are the meetings?
Well,
So
there
it's-
it is. All
It's
right.
typically
does seem like we want-
the second Wednesday evening on Zoom at 7:30.
It just does seem that, particularly with, the library expansion project and community involvement and whatever, we should be, try to not be in lockstep with them, but certainly coordinate what we're doing and give them, highlight them for all their fundraising efforts.
Yes, they've
Yeah,
been great.
And to that point, Janet, I know the director's report kind of ends up being like a good chunk of it is like, what are the friends up to? But they have really expanded fundraising efforts. They're kind of doing a lot for us. There's a lot of momentum in the group and a lot of new people involved. So first of all, I want to let you know what kind of that's going on, that Kim and I have been very involved in those conversations. And then just to let you all know, I think like what Amy said, with Mary hoping to kind of be a bridge between the two groups, I think is going to be really valuable moving forward, especially since we're kind of looking long-term at an expansion project.
Yeah, we did invite her to tonight's meeting, didn't we? Mary?
Yes,
Okay.
she's unable to attend. She's
Yeah.
gonna watch the recording though later.
Okay.
The second, I'm sorry.
Go
the-
ahead.
The second,
No, go ahead, Dave.
the second bullet from the bottom, M. Jandro, Jandro first name?
His name, I believe his first name is Mike. That's what he
Mike?
lists M as his author name.
Okay,
He just does his first initial.
all right.
Is he a children's author? Oh,
No, I think it's more sort of like adult fiction, but he writes about some nonfiction topics too.
okay.
But he's a
So-
resident. He lives in Southborough. So that was kind of the idea. And he did reach out to me quite a while ago. So we were just trying to find a good event to have him at. And I think he's going to attend the next Friends meeting and introduce himself. And then we're going to kind of go from there.
You said 5:30 is when they have their meeting?
Yeah. So their next meeting is going to be, it's at 7:30
Oh,
on the second Wednesday. So they should be meeting again on May 8th is going to be the next Friends meeting.
Okay.
And I get the Zoom links. I set those up. So if anybody's interested, contact me and I'll send you the link.
okay.
That's good.
Okay.
That's great. That's good. They've been active. I have Amy, you're leaving at 6, right?
6:10 about.
Okay, all right.
My Wi-Fi working.
I
Yeah.
just want to move the library director evaluation up in the agenda so that you're here for that. Because I think we need to get going on that. But Ryan, please proceed with the expense report if we have no more questions about the director's report.
I have no real, other than that issue with how to spend the dues money, which we already
Okay.
kind of discussed.
Yeah.
I did get a supplemental account update today, so I didn't have that report for you. I didn't want to send it to you like 2 hours before the meeting, so I'll send that to you for the materials for next month. And then at that point, I think we should also take the vote to do the materials expenditures, any excess that like bills we get in at the end, that we take that out of the Mary Fay fund. But that's jumping ahead to next month. So, but other than that, we're in good shape. We have about 18 grand going into materials spending for the next 2 months. So that's right where I want to be.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see that the rest of the line items are going down. There, I did kind of do a little rough projection of salaries. We are going to turn back money, which kind of happens every year because we have people leave or we have people who don't work or call out sick. So one of the things I am trying to do is just if people, part-time staff members are interested in working and we have things for them to do, we're trying to schedule them before the end of the year because that's helping us kind of expend those funds, but then also get projects done that we need.
Sounds good. All right. Any other questions on the expense report? Okay. Now the library director evaluation. I'd just like to move that up to the next item so that Amy will be here for that discussion because I think it's important. When is it due, Ryan?
So the like cover sheets and everything,
Mhm.
I don't have an update for you. I know that the personnel board needs them like at some point in June. So
Mhm.
that's why we're talking about this now,
Mhm.
because then they start approving um the people that they get. So I think last year it was June 1st.
Mhm.
So that like really next meeting is probably when, if you're ready, we should probably be looking at doing mine or scheduling an extra meeting for that, which,
Okay, so what I would like to do now is I would like to email out to everybody on the board the blank form for Ryan, okay? And if everybody could just take the time to fill it out and email it back, I can collate the numbers and the comments before our next meeting so that we could get it taken care of at our next meeting. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Good.
Yep.
All righty,
Yeah.
so I'll do that. All right.
Why don't you give us a deadline, Marguerite, that gives you plenty of time to get together, because otherwise you may find you're doing it,
All right, let's see. What is it now? Today is 22. How about if I get it out before the end of the week, and I'll try to do it tonight, actually. If our May meeting, Ryan, you got a ballpark for when you want to do the May meeting?
well, I mean, it's going to be different because we're going to have a new board member after the
Mhm.
next election. I
All
think
right.
you should probably try to schedule this sometime after the election,
Mm-hmm.
would be my suggestion.
Okay,
So
and that's May 4, right? No,
yeah.
what am I talking about? May
So I'm thinking maybe, because I
7.
know if we
7.
switch more to a daytime meeting, and one of the
Mhm.
things I was gonna, like, we're jumping ahead to like when I was gonna talk about the next meeting date, but maybe it's good to talk about it now, is I
Right.
was thinking maybe we try a Thursday morning and see how
Okay.
that works for everybody, like around 11,
Could
Which
happen.
Thursday, please?
the 16th
The
of
No, I
May.
16th.
I cannot do Thursdays at that time.
Okay.
I can't
Sorry.
do the 16th.
Let's talk about that later on. Right now, okay, let's say that if I send these forms out to you tonight or tomorrow morning, and everybody, do you think a week is enough time to do it? Do you think you could have it in by, let's see, the 30th? And I could have it ready the week after that? Should we say the 30th for sort of deadline-ish time? All right, that's fine. I
Sounds
don't
good.
think it's going to be too impossible. Okay. And thank you for asking about a deadline, Amy. All right, good. I think we're done with that. Um, any other comments, Ryan? Do you want to talk about your self-eval?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm
Yep.
happy to talk with any members one-on-one. And then
Okay.
just, there are elements of the evaluation, because I do a lot of these that I do
Mhm.
help Marguerite with. Like, I check on the calculations for what the salary increase is gonna be. So I do that part with Marguerite, just to let all of you know. But we don't usually do it until we're more in the final stages of it. So it'll
Right.
be after you guys send her in the stuff and it all gets collated.
Yes. Okay. So I think that'll work pretty well. Thank you, everybody. And I think this is going to be really hard, Ryan, writing an evaluation for you again that allows us enough room to say nice things, but okay. Any other questions about that, or shall we go back to the agenda and deal with the Massachusetts Public Library Construction Program?
I just want to say, I feel uncomfortable suggesting edits to someone's self-evaluation, but I'll just spend 5 or 10 minutes with you sometime.
Okay.
Ryan, I've got a couple of suggestions that are not highly substantive. So if that's a good way to proceed.
Yeah, I will
Not
say
now.
I didn't do as much proofreading as I normally do, because I really tried to get it to you guys by this meeting.
Mm.
So I'm sure, David, you found a couple grammar issues with it, and I'm
Just
not
depends.
surprised that I'm getting that feedback, to be honest.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, David. That's good. That's a generous use of your time. Okay, so the MBLC construction, where are we?
So we're plugging along. I have a meeting, so I've gotten copies of the certified votes that we got at town meeting from the town clerk. I got those in an envelope on Friday. We need to submit 2 copies to the state with the application. There is like sort of massive amounts of financial data that I need to get from Carla and Brian. So I have a preliminary meeting with them tomorrow at 1:30 at the townhouse to kind of sit down. But I need to get past copies of annual budgets for the
Yes.
town. I need to
Yeah.
get I need to get like our bond rating information. It's like all fun stuff like this, guys. So those are kind of the areas. We filled in a lot of the library statistical side. And I will say, I have to give a lot of credit to Mariana Sorensen and Carol Logan, and also one of our newest members, Diane Wallace. Mariana's helped me with all of it. And then Carol and Diane have been initial proofreaders on the 30-year service plan we have to submit with the application. So as we complete these documents, you guys are going to be getting them, and there will also be an opportunity for you to provide me feedback if there's things that you want included or that you think are absent. But you're probably going to get an initial copy of this after you have to submit Marguerite the evaluation, because I think we need like another 2 weeks to kind of polish it up. The service plan by itself is a pretty massive document, and then the application pieces after are more like, I think we're going to have to sit down one-on-one in front of a computer, because we're having to plug those into like a form response. We're using a system called Amplifund, which we used for the LSTA grant. One thing that's kind of hung us all up is some of the town information. So my big inspiration was looking at the master plan that was recently completed. That talks a lot about the future of the town and also codifies some of the existing information there. So we're hoping to kind of take some of the really strong elements of the master plan and then contribute that to the town-wide information. But there's still a lot of work to do. I'm not going to lie, but we've also gotten a lot done since the last time I talked about this. So I do feel pretty confident that we're going to have a complete application by the deadline and be able to submit it.
That's really great, Ryan. That's a lot of work. Thank you.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
Well, anything, call on me, any of us. I'm sure we'll be glad to help any way that we can.
Yeah, so I know I haven't asked any of you for help, but I will say it's coming. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Anything to lighten your load at this point. All right, how about more than books agreement forms?
So this is just sort of more of a formality, I don't want to say, but anytime we start sort of creating documents that are going to be available on the website, I do
Mm.
like to let you like make the board aware of it. This isn't a policy. Even though the telescope stuff, I think we have a lot that goes with the telescope. These were all updated documents from when we first started circulating it. So this is even prior to when we were calling it a more than books item. This is when we just started circulating the telescope, which was like 8 years ago at this point. So we are looking to do something similar with the projector. So that made us kind of look at the telescope form and then kind of adapt a projector form as well. So these are in draft form right now. We are using kind of the old form of the telescope that people are agreeing to, and they sign off on it when they pick it up. But if you guys have editorial feedback, you can kind of get with me and then we can look at these again at the next meeting. I think that's the best path forward. But we're kind of when the thing goes above like the $300 mark on replacements, that is when I start looking at developing like a companion signatory form. That's what a lot of other libraries do. And I just don't want this to be, we can tell people that it's like $375, $400 to replace a piece of equipment. But I feel a lot more confident if they're signing a document and we're
Yep.
making a bigger deal of it, because we will have to charge people for these if they're broken.
Well, that was my
I
question.
thought
It
this
says
was
it's
good.
charging to their library account.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's their
What is
library
that?
account?
Yeah.
So that is like when you lose a book at the library, because these items are circulating.
Yep.
So when they get checked out to them, in the same way that like if you check out a book and never return it, or you adversely damage the book and then return it, we'll have to charge you a replacement cost. So that's the replacement cost on the items.
That
Okay.
makes perfect sense.
No, I think it's good. I just wondered what that was. 'Cause,
Yeah, with the library patrons account,
yeah,
it was kind of, I wasn't familiar with that. It seemed as if a replacement cost of $375 will be charged to the patron, it seems, but that's just
Well,
me. I don't know. I
well,
think these
maybe
are
just
fine.
charge to the patron.
Yeah, we could do that, Jane. That's good feedback. When somebody has a replacement charge on their card, it
Yeah.
does prevent them from utilizing the other circulation components on their card. So like, let's say you took out a telescope and you never returned it. Well,
Mhm.
then if you came in a month later and tried to take out a book, we would see that and then your account would be blocked. So that's sort of why the language is there. But you're right in that if people aren't familiar with that language, that that's the other reason I wanted to show these to you, because the staff and I are very close to this, using some of that language, and we want to make sure that this is clear to people who are taking out these items.
Well, it just might feel like, well, wait a minute, I don't pay anything to the library, just the account. I understand that it's your vocabulary, but the patrons don't really know that.
Yeah.
So, we can work on that a little, or be charged a price of, everyone's gonna understand if you lost it, then you need to, pay to replace it.
Mm.
But there's probably a better way. Let me think about it.
Well,
Okay.
that's a good idea.
But I'm glad
And
you told me that.
you don't want feedback now. You want
I
to
don't want
wait
it
till.
now.
I
Okay.
think it's fine. You can email it to me, or we can set a time to talk. Like if you
Okay.
want to come in, Jane, we can sit and we can look at both the documents. They're not final. These are in
Yeah.
draft form. That's why I wanted to show them to you now.
Okay, the other question I had with the telescope, where it says caution, do not look at the sun while using the telescope. Doing this can blind the user. The library is not responsible for any damages a patron inflicts upon him/herself, right? Or the telescope. Well, you are responsible for damages you inflict on the telescope.
Yeah.
But the other part is this a legal is this a legal disclaimer of liability? And in which case, does that need to go by J. Tallerman?
So we're happy to, maybe we could drop by office hours, Marguerite, and we could
Yeah.
ask him. This was something that was requested by the people we bought the telescope from, which
Mhm.
was the Aldrich Astronomical Society, and
Okay.
they modified the telescope. So I will say they were very concerned about liability, I
Yep.
think, when they sold us the telescope. But once they sold us the telescope, it became our property.
Right.
So really we
So it's
I know
our liability, but
yes.
it's
So,
also theirs. If some kid looks at the sun and does damage to his retina, they would have to also go after the telescope manufacturer.
well, you do have to be over 18 to check the telescope out. So that's very clear there. So it has to be under the supervision of a parent who's checked it out. And the
Well, is
reason
it?
why
Does it say you're supposed to use it under the supervision of a parent?
in the use guide it does, yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a separate user guide and there's a manual that comes with the telescope in
So maybe
addition.
this is a Jay Tallerman question
Yeah.
to a couple of sentences just for the liability part.
Okay, see, that's good feedback, and I will say we make it very clear when we check the telescope not to use it during the daytime because the Aldrich people were very
Hmm.
clear about that. Is
Yeah.
that this can permanently damage your eyesight, so they wanted it to be very like they said, if you tell the patrons one thing, tell them that. So
Well, which makes me think that someone has done that, right?
I mean, nobody in Southborough that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's clear when we check it out. But if you want to double check our liability, I mean, I just hope that it doesn't result in Jay telling us not to circulate them. But I mean, a lot of libraries do this.
A
We're
lot of
not the only
libraries
one.
circulate them. I think if you just have if you have a disclaimer and somebody signed it,
Or
then
maybe we put
They
a
sign
stick,
these.
or
Yeah.
On the-
maybe put a sticker on the actual telescope that says not to be used
right.
except
Yeah.
at night.
So it
Something like
says
that.
that
Right, yeah.
there's two stickers, Janet, on the telescope itself that say do not use during the sun, can permanently blind
Okay.
you. Yeah, so
Good.
it does actually explicitly say it on the telescope. Then there's there's a manual where it says it, and
Mm.
then we developed like a flip guide that goes in it that's like a visual guide with
Mhm.
pictures that it says it there as well. So there's
Good.
no documentation that doesn't say this.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so whoever takes it out can also sign that they're aware of that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
This is like things you have to worry about. Okay, so any other questions or comments about that? I guess we can all give you feedback, editorial feedback on that individually.
Yeah, I think
All
that'd
right.
be the best.
Now, is Amy still with us or has she left?
I think she left.
She
I think
just
so.
left.
Right, okay. All righty. How about where are we? Candidates night. Whoa.
I think we're all set.
Yep. I think
Do you
so
want to go
too.
together to Wegmans to pick up the food?
If you want,
like we did
yeah.
last year? Huh?
I didn't pre-pick up the gift card this year, Janet. So it might take me a little longer because I have to go to customer service to do that. So I was
Mhm.
gonna get the gift card and then use it the same day. But I'm gonna do the catering order tomorrow. So I'm gonna call them to order it. If that does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
Question still stands. Do you want me to go with you to?
It would help if you have time in the early,
Yeah.
like, we'll probably go kind of 3-4 o'clock-ish, I think, if that's okay.
Oh, so not just before. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever you
We
want.
could
This
do
is
it, we could
Wednesday
do it
night,
later
right?
on too. I can see when it'll be ready. Let me ask them tomorrow how quick they
Okay.
could have.
Yeah, it probably would be better not to drive there at 5 o'clock when
Oh God.
Route 9
Because
turns into a parking
it's
lot.
7 p.m., right? The event starts
6:30.
6:30. Oh.
That's when the catering will be available. So
Okay.
that's when you guys should come.
That's the meet and greet part, Marguerite.
Oh, so the catering. Okay, so you're gonna pick up at 3. That makes sense. Anyway,
Yeah,
Janet, thank you so
maybe
much.
4. I like just doing it before 5. That was really my
Yes.
target. Yeah.
So you're not sitting on Route 9.
Well, Route
Just-
9 blocks up starting at
Off.
4315, but
Off. God.
but if we go back ways, we can go back ways.
Yeah, I'm also used to setting up all the furniture for this, and facilities is going to do it for us this year. So I have more time than I think.
Thank
so-
you, facilities. That's
At
good.
the senior center again?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
it's at Corderville Hall.
Yeah, just a quick observation. I'm disappointed that so much work goes into something and there's only two candidates, but that's nobody's fault. But it seems like an imbalance to me. There's nothing we can do about it.
Well, I don't think that's bad. I'm happy that we get a chance to see the candidates.
Yep.
You know, I don't care how many races it involves. I don't like the idea that people would be voting for a select board member who they've never seen, heard anything about,
right,
or whatever. I think it's great to give a forum, no matter how many races it involves.
Yes, I
We
agree.
have a lot of races some years, and I feel
Last
like,
year was 3 of them.
yeah,
was
Yes.
so to me, it balances out a little bit when we have like a bunch and then we have like one. So like maybe next year we'll have 2. I mean, the big thing is you're right, we can't control how many people are running for office.
I
I mean,
understand.
my plan is still to make it as much of an event as we can. And
Mhm.
then I really would just encourage all of you to encourage your neighbors, your friends, your family to attend, because normally we do get some built-in numbers because of people who are invested in the races, right, on a personal level, because they have a spouse or they have a parent who's running. And this year it's really going to be like, we need members of the general public to come. And like, it is catered. We are making a big deal. We're doing it in a bigger space. So just try to encourage people to come. We're letting everybody know when it is. And it is also on the Thursday night, so that even though the school committee is not a contested race, which it was going to be at one point, which is why we moved it to Thursday, they still have the option to attend. So we're
Oh, it's
hoping that many
Thursday?
of them can come.
I thought it was Wednesday.
No, it's Thursday.
It changed.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, the
Thursday the 25th.
school committee was going to be meeting on Wednesday night so that those members couldn't attend.
Right.
Well, then I won't be there. I thought it was Wednesday.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jane.
Yes, me too. I enjoyed it last time.
It's
That-
fun, isn't it? Even the
Really
candidates that
interesting.
are running unopposed, it's really good to hear from them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really
and
good to hear what
and you
they're
can watch
planning.
it, you know, I don't, again, I'm not worried too much about how many people actually attend,
Mm.
because I heard from a lot of people last year that watched it after and really were glad they got that opportunity to
okay.
feel
So
they were
that I
voting
can
for
do
it.
that then. It's all right. I will. Because I thought it was great. I thought you did a good job, and I enjoyed listening to them and getting
Yes.
a sense
Yeah.
of the
Get a chance to
candidate.
ask questions if you want.
Yep.
And sometimes it's nice to see what audience members come, you know, armed for bear to talk to the candidates.
They had their questions already.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've had those candidates nights.
It would have been more convenient, Jane, for me to do it on Wednesday, but we just didn't want the school committee candidates to feel left out. And then they specifically requested, because there was going to be a contested race,
Right.
to not do it on Wednesday. And then one of the people ended up dropping out, and it was kind of
I know,
too
and when
late
that
to-
happened, we could have switched it back to Wednesday, I suppose, but it didn't occur to me until this week.
No,
so-
I think
just-
Thursday is fine.
It's like booking Access Media and then booking the senior
right.
center. It was like and then having facilities on the hook to do the chairs. It was like everybody had a
Yeah,
date, then we moved it, then we're gonna have to move it back. So it was just,
I can watch it on the video. It's all right. Just anyway. Go on.
All right. Any
So
other?
we're all set.
It'll be good. Any other comments that any board members want to make?
Yeah. Marguerite, are you going to be there or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'll check you off.
Thank you.
and Janet, you got my note about Mary.
Right, that she can't make it. Yep.
Yeah. She did say she's worried that she's like making you guys all nervous because she hasn't come to meetings. She hasn't been to the thing. But
We'll
she's
take care of her later.
Yeah.
Yes, there'll be plenty of time to come to meetings, right?
So I've been trying to keep her in the loop about everything, and she said after I get sworn in, I'm ready to go and I will be there. So I was like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So I should have asked Amy too. I suppose I'll see you guys that evening, so I'll know
Yes,
who's there and who to
absolutely.
introduce.
Yeah, I think Amy can go, but I have to double check. So
I definitely cannot. I won't be here, but
Okay.
So is this Kim's last meeting?
Yes.
I think
Oh,
so.
Kim, we will miss you.
I
But
miss
Kim,
you.
you'll still be a member on candidates night if you still want to come.
Yes, I'll be there Thursday.
Oh, could you miss it? Yes. Anyway, well, thank you for everything that you've done for the library. I'm really,
Yes.
really happy that you've got your job. I think it's
Thank you.
wonderful. They're very
I-
fortunate to have you, and it's been really good to have you on the board.
Thank
You-
you. I've definitely enjoyed getting to know you all. I just wish we had more in-person meetings. Zoom
I
kind
know,
of,
I know.
change things up, but I have really enjoyed it, and I can't believe it's been 6 years, and
My
even
God,
longer
has it?
for
Yeah.
you, Marguerite. But thank you.
Anyway,
We
yes.
will miss you, Kim.
Yes, we will.
I'll
Hard
still be
act to
around.
follow. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Do we have
Good. I'm
any
glad you're coming
public
Thursday.
I know. Do we? Please come Thursday. We'll all ask you to give a speech and embarrass you.
Yeah.
Please don't.
but you won't come.
I
Don't
promise
say
we won't.
that.
I promise we won't. All right. Any public comment?
Well,
Anything?
we can see if Sam is still hanging out with us, and we can see if
Alright.
he'd like to say anything. I will just mention some of the Southburg gardeners have reached out to me. They want to plan Art in Bloom next year. So we're already in the preliminary stages of having some of those conversations. So we're working out the logistics, but I just wanted to let you guys know that we're already kind of planning one of those events next year. So
So are we going to do that every other year then? Is that?
it's really up to the gardener's leadership and
Okay.
how they would like to proceed. So they do have revolving presidents. So I think it really depends on if the president would like to pursue it. If like we do it one year and then the leadership wants to do it the next year, I'm not opposed to that, but it does end up being a lot of work for us, for the gardeners. So I think they like to take a year off in
Mhm.
between. They are doing it more frequently, I would say. And I think like people really like it, and I think it ends up being an event that comes together really great. So I want to just be supportive of what they want to do, but
The
I'll
books
fill you
in Bloom
guys
has
in
been
as we-
wonderful. It's
Yeah.
been wonderful. Yeah. So thank you to them. All right. That's good to know. Any other comments? All right. And we don't know when our next meeting will be.
Great.
What are we going to do, Ryan? Do another set of polls to see who can come?
Well, so Jane, are you not available typically on, like, if we did a Thursday morning, you can't do those, or
No,
can you?
I could probably do those.
I cannot do Thursday morning.
Okay. So let's start up by this, because I think we're looking at morning meetings potentially again.
Mhm.
Are there mornings that work better for some people versus other people?
Well,
Well, we used to do it at noon or 1.
Friday
Yeah.
morning at 11. That was working for.
Well, one of you here doesn't want to do Friday, but I don't know if they want to fuss up as to who it is. And okay, so there's more than one, so there you go. Okay. Okay, so Marguerite, I'm sorry, I'm pointing my finger at you because you can't do Thursdays and you don't want to do Fridays. So what day do you want to do?
I can do Wednesdays. I can do Tuesdays at lunchtime. I can do Mondays at lunchtime.
Yeah, I was
What
wondering,
about a
what do you mean by
lunchtime meeting?
morning? You know,
Oh,
you're talking about
like-
11?
I'm thinking like really like 11 noon 1. I'm looking at around that time frame
Mhm.
potentially.
I can do 11 noon 1, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
So
Okay.
can I.
Any conflicts, Jane?
What week are we talking about? Or is it?
Any-
I think we're gonna try to do it more in a standardized version. So we used to meet, I think the third Thursday of every month, third
Mhm.
third Tuesday. So Tuesday I typically come in the afternoon. I more come in from 1 to 9. So I would really, if you guys wanted to do this again, maybe we could target the third week of the month. But I kind of like the Mondays or the Wednesdays better.
I
I'll say
agree.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about Monday at 11?
You want to do that? If we're looking at May,
Mhm.
that's potentially May 20th.
Does that work for everybody?
I can
Works
do
for
that.
me.
Yeah, the only issue we need to double check is to make sure we don't run into a holiday if it's on a Monday, but we're a week before Memorial Day. So we're
Yep.
fine for May.
Okay, so I'm penciling in
Yes, 11
May
o'clock.
20th at 11 a.m., which is a Monday. How's that?
Yep.
Good.
So we just need to confirm with our new board member who's coming on board and with Amy, but I will do that for
Amy,
you.
yeah.
All right. All right. So tentatively that'll work. All right,
And then
everybody.
alternately though, if Monday doesn't work for people, when
Mhm.
is Wednesday that week? So if we looked at the 22nd as a backup,
Yes.
Great.
okay.
Yeah,
But it's
I
something-
think we should not look at Tuesday because that means you have to come in really earlier than you would.
Or we'd start at 1 instead of,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
I'll do whatever you guys want. Because
Well, I
to
think
me,
Monday and Wednesday. I can live
if
with
I
Monday
can
and
get all 6 of you together, I'll just figure it out. That's where I'm at with that.
herding cats
Yeah.
and trustees. Okay.
But
All right.
it is better to kind of do it towards the beginning of the week for me, because then I have I can try to get you guys stuff at the end of the week, which is
Yes.
kind of what we did this time.
Yeah.
So that's just, and I'm trying to get the stuff together as early as I can, which is why self evals are not getting proofread. So
Well, that's all right. Okay, so tentatively for the 20th at 20th of May at 11,
yeah.
unless we hear otherwise, and I'll see everybody at candidates night. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
well, did Sam have anything?
Oh
he
yeah,
wanted-
hold on. I did allow Sam to talk. Sam, do you have any comment? No?
Doesn't seem like it.
No, but he's here. I
Yeah.
think he can hear us.
Thank you for attending, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Mhm.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All right. Landry, aye.
Ekberg,
Davis,
aye.
aye.
Okay.
Regan, I.
Maybe I.
All right. We officially adjourned, everyone, and I will see you on candidates night, which is great. All right.
Good.
Thanks a lot.
Coming
Bye.
right up.
Hi, everyone.
Goodbye, all.
Bye.
Thanks, Kim. Bye.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank Kim.
So Ryan, I'll talk before Thursday afternoon. We'll figure
Yeah,
out a
we
time to
can.
go.
I'm in tomorrow. So I'm meeting with Carl and Brian tomorrow at 1:30, but we can
Yeah.
touch base tomorrow after that if you want.
Well, whenever you've talked to Wegmans.
I think I'm gonna call them tomorrow after that meeting. So then I'll just check in on the time, and then can I let you know tomorrow?
Yeah, fine. You
Okay.
can let me know Thursday.
Okay. All right. Thank you.